shit. We're gonna get some straightening around here. Poetik Flakko, I'm warning you, brother. Don't allow Three Fingers, aka Wackisha, to lead you down a perilous slope. Don't let him put you on the Swiss Alps when you know he gonna put you on a mountain covered with snow, and he gonna start yelling so that the snow can avalanche on your mother. Don't go for that, Flakko. Don't go for it. So that's our warning. You only gonna get one warning because I'm telling you, we all over this shit, and we ain't gonna let it go. And when it comes to legal, we have legal. We have legal at the highest level on the state and federal level with Todd R. Perkins. So you have been warned.
Now, it sound like to me, my guy Dawgface is sending a warning shot at Poetik Flakko, man. Letting him know, man, if he's been guided by Wack 100 any type of way and running these propagandas of Wack 100, bro, it's gonna be exposed. And if it come down to the lawyer, Dawgface say he ready to go with the guy Perkins, man. You know, he got his own lawyer, say he's really ready for the war if it come down to it. If y'all ain't know, man, this Big Meat situation has been brought up once again, bro, and it's coming from Wack 100 this time, man. You know, once Wack 100 get his hands all over, the water get muddy, and Dawgface is not letting it go down like that. Speaking on the behalf of Cuffie, and you know, now it's being said that Cuffie is a snitch, and it's been ran by Wack 100 and Big Meat, but supposedly they done teamed up together. Well, from the looks of it though, seem like my guy Dawgface is putting Poetik Flakko feet to the fire, man. Sending that warning shot.
Hey, Wack 100, hey, Poetik Flakko, we on y'all ass. Everything that y'all do as it relates to Deion Cuffie Gatlin and Big Meech, that shit better be above the board because we are watching and we have legal, real legal on it. When y'all make a mistake, because we know y'all working in a concerted effort with Big Meech. We know that. No brainer. You better be on point with that shit because right now, y'all not on point. And I guarantee you, as soon as we get through with this investigation that we doing into the shit that y'all trying to present, we gonna bust y'all ass. That's a fact, Jack. That Girl Henny. So listen, so I don't even want, see, we have decided as a collective that listen, we're not even gonna give Wack too much attention. Because to give him too much of attention would suggest that we really give a fuck about the shit he doing, or it would suggest that he has something going on that deserves our attention. I personally, and I'm speaking for myself here, I know Wack is a disingenuous, disloyal, sneaky snake. I don't believe nothing the nigga say. Nothing. If he told me today was Tuesday, if he told me tomorrow was going to be Thursday and today was Wednesday, I wouldn't believe it. That's how much I distrust that. That just is what it is. So we on your ass. And Flakko,
and I ain't gonna forget to mention that this situation with Cuffie and Big Meech has already been, you know what I'm saying, brought up a couple years ago where Dawgface has already spoken, and so as Wack 100. But now that Big Meech is out and now getting to finally get his point across, now it's looking kind of muddy for Cuffie, and that's where Dawgface come into play. He's not letting that angle that Wack 100 and Poetik Flakko is trying to present go. And my guy Ruler Report, he questioning Flakko too. But let's keep it going. Y'all hit that like, hype, and subscribe, man.
When you start taking direction
and
instruction from the likes of a Cash Jones, since when you started
that been going on,
running missions and running plays, I've heard that.
Okay, yeah.
Right? I've heard that some of you guys who are at the top of the totem pole have allowed Wackisha to commandeer our platforms to push his agenda. I hope you're getting paid. I hope you ain't just allowing him to use you to do his bidding for free. I hope you have received some benefit, and or I hope that he doesn't have anything on you that he's using to blackmail you, because none of this shit makes any sense whatsoever.
And that could be the case because when he give Flakko that work or whatever he have in the information that Flakko running, go look at Flakko numbers. He getting paid off of it, but is it worth the risk? Flakko say he have to wait. But Dawgface say he ain't letting this go under no rug. He gonna bring this to light. This ain't getting swept under the rug either.
So we're going to move on to something that is more pressing. Nolan Wales. The whole world is talking about it, not just.
Hold on. Duh, hold on. No, stay right where you at. Nah, don't move yet. Cause see,
Okay.
and this is why I'm saying it. I still want the people who watching to know what it is that we are questioning as looking or appearing to be fraudulent in a misrepresentation of what is being presented to the people as federal documentation by Poetik Flakko. Because at this point, Flakko also has to come clean with paperwork to prove what he said about Cuffie is true. He said that, basically, things about 50 Cent. He put 50 Cent's name in the equation, and he presented something that I feel we haven't seen. We've looked at several things or whatever, what we've been looking at. But what I want to do is I want to actually just present to the people what I believe is BS that Flakko is presenting. And then we can go ahead and move on, because I feel like he needs to be called out or called to the table at this point as well, because he actually produced this stuff. You know what I mean? He got 97,000.
If you gonna call out Poetik Flakko to the table, you gotta call out the person who feeding him the information. I'm pretty sure he ain't getting it from no other. You know what I'm saying? So gotta play it both ways, man. Let's keep it going though. Y'all hit that like, hype, and subscribe.
Wow, how's where it gets really bad for Cuffie? It gets worse, trust me. Cuffie, in his plea deal, confirmed that Derek Clemens and Raymond Jones shot it. Yo, yeah, I called the hit on Howard. I got him killed. But the shooters was Derek Clemens and Raymond Jones. The 27-year sentence alone should have told you guys that something nasty was going on. No, bro, you don't murder a federal informant and get 27 years, but it gets worse. That's just the first excuse Big Meech just yet. We're going to get still rat on a rat. If you rat on a rat, that don't accuse your rat. And so we're going to get to Big Meech, and we're going to figure out did Big Meech tell or not. Y'all will be surprised by the result. After everything y'all been hearing online for the last year and a half. Cuffie would admit that he ordered the murder of Terrence Morgan as a preventative measure to stop him from cooperating with federal authorities. Now, Terrence Morgan was murdered on May 2nd, 2013. Gatlin ordered Terrence Morgan murder at the Terrence Morgan. So Cuffie believed that Terrence Morgan was snitching on him, so he got Terrence Morgan killed and confessed to it. Again, this is where it goes all bad for Cuffie. Cuffie would also admit that a man named Andre Rush, who was also a distributor, who also stored drugs for Cuffie and operated as a hitman for Cuffie, Cuffie would claim that he paid Andre Rush to shoot and kill Terrence Morgan. And as bad as that is,
All right, that's enough right there. Let me stop sharing my screen. So what I'm saying is this. For one, like I was saying, to my peers behind the scenes, first and foremost, none of that we just seen, those screenshots, that's not federal documentation. That's not what federal documentation looks like. So either somebody actually created those summaries and screenshotted those to Poetik Flakko, or somebody actually got hold of some fake paperwork and gave it to Poetik Flakko. Because at this point, we haven't seen one credible piece of documentation being put out besides what we got directly from the family and what we found that says the things that Flakko just presented to the people. So I'm putting it out there saying that Flakko is misrepresenting the federal paperwork and stating that Cuffie Gatlin actually cooperated and assisted federal prosecutors by putting that out there. I'm pretty sure everybody else agree with me that what we just looked at isn't anything familiar when it comes to federal documentation.
And I'm gonna keep it a band. I don't really too much know what documentation of the figs or anything look like because I don't do that type of research. I'm a reaction channel, but it seems like to me, man, they challenging Poetik Flakko's paperwork on Cuffie, man. They saying it's not right. But one thing about Poetik Flakko, man, that I've been seeing on this internet here lately, bro, with the guy Munchie B, the blood from California, man, Inglewood family blood, say that them boys out there is making fake messages and everything. So it's possible that it could be fake, but I want y'all to listen to what Dawgface is about to say, though, because what the ruler report just said, he feel like something is not right. Something is fake about this whole situation. So pay attention. Listen.
You just put that nicely. So listen. So what I'm saying is that I found where those quotes or paragraphs come from. They come from Cuffie's waiver of indictment and plea hearing, wherein which he was pleading guilty to the crimes therein. And like what happens when you allocute, when you plead guilty to a crime, you have to do something called allocute. And allocute means you have to acknowledge the elements of the crime and the terms and conditions of the plea in order for the judge or the magistrate, in order for them to accept your guilty plea or your plea of guilt. Those paragraphs come from a larger document wherein which the judge was reading off the different elements of the crime as they were presented, and then Cuffie was acknowledging doing his guilty plea, which you have to do. When you're pleading guilty to a crime, whatever that crime may be, before the judge will accept your plea, you have to allocate, you have to acknowledge the different elements of the crime, and the judge has to be convinced that you're doing so according to your own will and volition, without any undue stress or without any backdoor promises that are not a matter of record in the court.
And now this is what I get from that. I feel like Dawgface is saying that it was a list of charges, you know what I'm saying, of that magnitude of whatever Cuffie was facing, of general charges that's probably get read to everybody who's faced in that, you know what I'm saying, not actually who's with him, but just in general, people who comes and face the magnitude or the you know what I'm saying, the same type of charges that Cuffie faced, probably everybody get read the same thing and you gotta agree to it. That's what I think they saying. I might be wrong though, but that's just what I get out of it.
So when ruler reports say misrepresentation, I believe that he means misrepresentation because they have extracted those two paragraphs from a greater document and have tried to prop them up as if they are standalone elements that show that Cuffie cooperated. That's not true. And I challenge Poetik Flakko. I'm not even talking about whack, because whack is whack. I don't even give a fuck about that. But when Flakko, I'm on your ass. Pause.
Yeah, it is.
Because since when have you decided to allow yourself to be led by the nose by Cash Jones? A motherfucker who you know lied about Zay Osama. A motherfucker who you know lied about T Grizzly. Even his own clubhouse members like Ghost, when he mentioned Baby Shooter's name, he declared, hey, we ain't fucking with that nigga no more. That nigga's a bitch. He gave us fake documents and he made us look bad.
He said, Ghost say he ain't effing with Whack 100 no more? That's critical. That's going to be interesting. But let's keep it going. That's crazy, man.
On Clubhouse, Ghost came out and said, no, we ain't fucking with that. We ain't jacking that. Pause. Because that nigga gave us fake documents and made us look terrible. That's what I believe.
But one thing about it, you got to already, if Dawgface, I'm going to give Dawgface the ultimate benefit of the doubt. He probably ain't got enough time to be going back checking every video Poetik Flakko made. His Poetik Flakko ish come down my timeline, so I be checking him out. Half the Cali content that he gets about the gangbangers come from his reliable source. Just keep it in the band. Pay attention. Let's keep it going, though.
That Ruler Gang is alluding to. Hey, Deontay Moore, thanks for 5 more bucks. That's my man.
So basically, what Dawgface is trying to say is that there's a bigger story than what you're getting. They just pick the salacious parts out there and then try to paint a narrative making this look like it is the official document, like, but it's not. And we know it.
But what people are going to question who's going to be on WAC 100 and Poetik Flakko and Big Me side, they're going to ask, well, why is it in there? I'm saying this. I feel like it's a general, you know what I'm saying, read that everybody probably get that is faced with that stature of crime, bro. That's what I get out of it. It's probably a general paragraph with somebody who's been in a similar situation. All of them probably get read the same thing, but I could be wrong, though.
And they know it, too. But
Motown you know, that $4.99, that's gas money. Deontay, that $2, that 2 on pump 10. 2 on pump 10.
They going at it. So just for people who don't know about the way that the federal law works and federal plea procedures and stuff, in federal law is a such thing called a factual basis. And I got it pulled up, so I'm gonna be reading from it. But it says a factual basis is showing that a crime actually occurred and that the defendant committed it. Under federal rule of criminal procedure 11B3, a federal judge must confirm this as evidence before accepting a guilty plea. So anybody who pleads in federal court, this is just a part of the normal procedure. A lot of people used to refer to it as admitting guilt. If you go back in the day and you look at some of the things that took place with some of the mafia guys that pled guilty in federal court, a lot of times they were actually, looked at or questioned or sometimes accused of being one thing or another, rats or whatever, for admitting that the mafia actually exists because, I don't know if people...
You break the omerta code, you break the omerta code, bro, and that mafia, they do not play about that omerta.
Remember this, but for a while, the mafia was like an illusion. Nobody in the mafia ever admitted that the La Costa Nostra existed. This has been going on forever, though. So anybody who's ever pled guilty in federal court has went through the factual basis procedure.
In addition to that, on the screen, it is 18 USC 924C1A. And let me read from this. It says, it's a federal law that punishes anyone who uses, carries, possesses a firearm during and in relation to a crime of violence or drug trafficking crime. It adds strict mandatory minimum prison sentence that must be served consecutively to the sentence for the main crime. Right? And so here are the mandatory minimum sentences for crimes as such. So this is what we're looking at right here, right? So because Flakko mentioned, and we're just gonna touch this and jump off of it, but Flakko mentioned, well, I can't believe he only got 27 years and blah, blah, blah. He got 10 years for the drugs. He got 17 years for the discharging of the firearm during the felony. The mandatory minimum sentences are not as harsh as you would believe them to be, or as people are suggesting that they are. So for the mandatory minimum sentences, let's read. It is a mandatory 5 years for basic possession, use, or carrying of a standard firearm in the commission of another felony. It is a 7-year mandatory minimum sentence if a firearm is brandished, which means shown, waved in a threatening way. It is a 10-year mandatory minimum sentence if the firearm is discharged during a crime, right? So we're going to come back to this and we're going to jump all on top of this. But I just want people to know and understand that there's more to this story than meets the eye. And this story, it deserves more than just a cursory once over. That's not how we do that. That's not how we're going to do that. We're going to get to the meat and potatoes of this shit. We're going to get some straightening around here. Poetik Flakko, I'm warning you, brother. Don't allow Three Fingers, aka Waukesha, to lead you down a perilous slope. Don't let him put you on the Swiss Alps when you know he gonna put you on a mountain covered with snow and he gonna start yelling so that the snow can avalanche on your motherfucking ass. Don't go for that, Flakko. Don't go for it. So that's our warning. You only gonna get one warning because I'm telling you we all over this shit and we ain't gonna let it go. And when it comes to legal, we have legal. We have legal at the highest level on the state and federal level with Todd R. Perkins. So you have been warned.
TP.
Deontay Moe, 2 more out.
And another thing, I feel like Dawgface is saying, hey, man, it's not necessarily that they covering this situation, bro. It's more about the narrative that they trying to push after considering the fact that they already done smeared Big Meech's name through the mud. That's what's crazy about it, bro. Just keeping it real. Then another thing is, and knowing that they already done smeared Big Meech's name through the mud once before, that's questioning the conversation that Wack 100 is saying that him and Big Meech had. Well, people are stirring it up, keep putting it in this algorithm and making it feel like it's true. So we gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it, man. But I got Dawgface to say, hey, bro, we got to get down to the proof of this. But I'm gonna let this last clip, my guy Ruler Report gonna take me up out of it, and we gonna talk about it a little bit more though, man. Make sure y'all hit that like, hype, and subscribe, bro.
God damn. That's my dog. That's my dog. Where the blunts at? Where the Henny at?
I want to say one thing before we move forward, because I know we're gonna move forward. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it ain't no need to spend a bunch of time on this. My thing is this: the statement I want to make is, at this point, it's on y'all to produce the paperwork, because a screenshot isn't enough to condemn a man for snitching. And I'm not saying Cuffie didn't cooperate. I'm not saying he did. And I'm not saying he did or didn't, because the people who saying that he did haven't produced paperwork. I need to see the whole paperwork. We need to see docket numbers and everything. Don't send me no screenshots or saying this and that. Show me that whole entire sheet. Show me the whole thing. And then if we see that he did bad or whatever, we don't have no problem with coming and saying, hey, the man did bad. It is what it is. People cooperate all the time. But I'm not going to condemn this man and put his life in jeopardy over a screenshot.
Mind you, he's in the federal prison system. And people have said, well, ask him where he is now. He's in a medical facility. He old. But that's not where he started. He started in a USP, Terre Haute, Indiana, where they check paperwork on y'all. Huh?
Yo.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
we can hear you.
My mic went out. I couldn't hear nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole thing is, so he was on he came into a USP, his paperwork checked out. So unless y'all saying that the people who was reading his paperwork from joint to joint to joint are all wrong. But we're gonna get to that too, because there's a lot to uncover here, a lot to unearth here. And I feel like that there's somebody putting their finger on the real nigga scale, trying to tip public perception in their favor. That's what I'm accusing niggas of. And Poetik Flakko, don't let me find out that you carrying this bitch ass nigga water and you ain't get your ducks lined up, because since when have you received? First of all, I never known you to even read paperwork, but that's cool. You're adding a new chapter to what Flakko does. That's cool.
Yeah, that's what he do now. He be trying to, he in the mix, bro. He do a whole lot of, putting a whole bunch of extras on the truth, bro.
Cool. But
you call him the water boy?
I am calling.
All right, man, but we gonna go ahead and end this, man. If y'all want to check this live out, bro, make sure y'all go check it out, because after this, they go to the Nolan Wells and it gets spicy. I might go live at 5 today and cover this right here, because it's, Dawgface content, and it really gets spicy, man. But back to this though, man. They are saying, bro, I understand what y'all trying to do, bro, and everything is kind of adding up all the wrong way. The documentations and stuff, they want to see the actual paperwork. They don't want to see the sentencing. And we all gonna hold them accountable to it, bro. Who are we holding accountable? I hear the ruler report saying he holding Poetik Flakko. Well, the person who give Poetik Flakko that information is WAC 100. So he got to be held accountable too for the actual documents. But if they prove the documents, bring the documents out, I'll be doing the video going crazy about that situation. But until then, man, shout out to Dawgface, Miss Henny, Underdawg, and the ruler report for this content, man. Make sure y'all hit that like, hype, and subscribe. We at 6.6K trying to get to 10K subs, man. So do your boy a favor if you're new to the channel. Hit that sub button, man, and hit that hype button for your boy. It's your boy BT Scoop. I'm out.